So, you've got the starter set and you're ready to learn to play Dungeons and Dragons with your friends or family. This box will teach you how to play and has a great fun adventure inside. But I've got some info for you that's not in this box. This video is all about the things a starter set doesn't tell you, so let's dive in. Adventurers, if you love all things Dungeons & Dragons, tips, tricks, unboxings, and reviews, you're going to want to make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and that notification bell so you don't miss any of our epic upcoming videos. So what kind of things about Dungeons & Dragons does the starter set not tell you? First of all, the adventure in the book is going to take you from levels 1 to level 5. And I want to let you know that those level 1 characters are what we in Dungeons & Dragons like to call squishy. Now that means you're pretty likely to get killed. You don't start off with a lot of hit points. You only have basic weapons. You don't have a lot of skills and abilities yet. And your scores haven't even improved from leveling up yet. This can oftentimes result in character deaths. It happens all the time in Dungeons & Dragons. Now, if you've picked up the starter set though because you want to learn how to play for the first time and see if you like the game, it is not going to be very much fun for someone if their character dies right away and then they're just sitting at the table while everybody else is playing. So I recommend if a character actually dies while you're playing the starter set adventure, if you're way near the beginning of the adventure, like literally the first combat encounter, I would just start over, or even let that player have a mulligan, take back their turn, and decide to do something else. The point of the game is to learn and have fun, and it can be a little disheartening if your character dies sometimes. So it's okay to just go ahead and start over, rewind, take a mulligan, try again. Next, I want to let you know that it is okay to switch characters if you want to. If you've decided that out of the box of pre-made characters, you're going to start with the level 1 human fighter, and after about an hour or so of playing that character, you're like, oh, I'm really not liking this one. I really wish I had picked the rogue. Let the player go ahead and switch. No harm done. Like I said, we're all about learning here and seeing if this is a game that you enjoy. Now, while this adventure does come with pre-made characters, sometimes people want to try making their own. So if you have access to the player's handbook and you want to make your own characters for this adventure, go ahead, you can do that too. You're not forced to stick with the characters that are in the box. Those are in there to make it really easy to just open up the box, pick a character, dive right in and start playing. But if you want to take the time to make your own, go for it. Next, I want to talk about maps. You may remember that I had a previous video on how to actually use this starter set, and if you want to see that, I'll put a link to it right up here. Well, one of the things I mentioned about Lost Mine of Phandelver is that all the maps that are in this book are for the Dungeon Master eyes only, not for the players, because there's secret things posted on the maps, or maybe the locations of traps and things. And I got a lot of questions on that video about what they could show the players. Now, you can either give the players a description and let somebody in the party kind of draw the map, like they're the map maker. But if you want copies of these maps without the secret things on them, I did find an online resource, a website, that was called the Game Night Blog. I will put the link in the description down below. And this site actually has all the maps for Lost Mine of Phandelver with all the secret things removed that you could print out to give to the players. Adventurers, do me a favor. If you're enjoying this video, could you go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, give us a like. It really helps out the channel more than you know. Now, one of my favorite ways to play, which is not included in the starter set, is an optional rule called flanking. If you have access to the Dungeon Master's Guide, page 251 explains this optional rule. Now, flanking is when the party is fighting creatures, or even just one creature, and two allies place themselves on opposite sides of the creature. It either can be one on the left and one on the right, or one in the front and one in the back. You can imagine if you're the creature that's being attacked from both the front and the back at the same time, how distracting that could be. And what this flanking does, it actually gives people advantage on their attacks if they're flanking a monster with another ally. And in the beginning, when you're learning how to play and you're still very low level and pretty squishy, it can be really helpful to have advantage on your attacks. And if someone is playing a rogue, that's going to actually give that rogue the opportunity to use their sneak attack dice. Now, the Dungeon Master's Guide does mention that the flanking rule is for when you're using maps and miniatures, but I've used this rule when we play Theater of the Mind many times. I'll often jot down how far my character is away from certain monsters, and I will tell the Dungeon Master I want to use my movement to move into melee with the monster and be able to flank with this other player. And they'll let me know if that's an option or not, if that's going to be possible. I've definitely used this rule with Theater of the Mind before. Now, if you have access to any of the other Dungeons & Dragons books in addition to the starter set, another option is to let the players start out at level 1 with a feat. These are certain features, I guess, that give your character extra abilities. And again, just might help make them a little less squishy. Now, even if you don't want to go through all the trouble to make your own character, you can certainly also modify the pre-made characters that come in the starter set. Again, if you have access to any of the other books, and I'm going to actually reference Tasha's Cauldron of Everything here, there's a lot of extra character options in these books, and it is okay to take one of the pre-made characters to start with and kind of modify a few things. Some of my favorite things that I like out of Tasha's Cauldron of Everything is the fact that rogues can have the option to forfeit all their movement on a turn to use a bonus action to actually aim, giving them advantage on their attack. A feature for second level clerics is the option to use a bonus action to restore some spell slots. And even for someone who's playing a fighter, there are 5 new fighting styles to choose from in here. Typically in Dungeons & Dragons, if you make your own character, at level 3, every character gets the option of choosing different subclasses. And the pre-made characters that come in the starter set have those subclasses already predetermined. And like I said, if you just want to go ahead and use these as is right out of the box, that's okay. That's why they're in there. That's why they're designed that way, to just go through them, who wants to play what, and let's get started. But if you're going to make your own, know that at level 3, you get a lot more character options. And like I said, this adventure goes level 1 to level 5. Now it's time for the epic question of the day. I want to know in the comments down below, are you going to try any of these additional ideas that I mentioned today that are not included in the starter set box? Or do you just want to keep things simple, stick to what's in the box, pass things out, and jump right in? Let me know down below which if any of these methods you intend to add to your game. Now you're going to want to watch one of the videos on the next screen. Go ahead and click on one of those and I will see you in that video. Now go have an epic adventure.